Shalum. Shalom to you who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father. This is the third episode of Endtime Reflections, and I want to bring your attention to something I mentioned in the previous episode, how I believe the second feast time, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, emphasizes our need to discern between righteousness and evil. While there are many teachings, many different positions on end-time prophecies, I say to you, O Yashar'al, while there are many practices, beliefs, interpretations of end-time prophecies, I say to you, O Yashar'al, seek to discern what the Spirit of Yahusha is revealing to you. And one way of discerning between righteousness and evil is whatever teachings, whatever conversations, whatever goes forth, they must always keep scriptures whole. In other words, the scriptures, when one believes that they are contradicting one another, it is because one has not sought the Almighty Father to make clear and to make known. I have witnessed as the noise increased during these end times. I have witnessed individuals who teach, preach, who are influencers among the set-apart family. I have witnessed them contradict themselves. When you see a preacher or teacher contradict themselves, then an error has definitely risen. Seek to get understanding and clarity. If they are unable to keep the scriptures whole, you may want to rethink whether that's the person you want to be as your moray, pastor, teacher, bishop, or priest. I say to you, keeping the scriptures whole. I have begun asking the questions often. Are you satisfied with your pastor, your teacher, your moray, your bishop, your priest? Are they equipping you with what to do in the event of their demise? Are you receiving instructions that make you strong and able to discern between righteousness and evil? The nation of Yashar'al, set-apart nation of Yashar'al, will discover unity, will discover and demonstrate the realities of what it means to be iron sharpening iron, individuals of like metals. One of the things that one can do, in addition to using the purpose of the 7 feast days that I presented in the previous episode, one of the things you can do is ask questions and more questions and even more questions. And you will find that in asking questions with the intent and purpose not to bring someone down, not to ridicule someone, not to generate argument, but ask questions to get set apart answers, to discover what is true and what is real, O Yashar'al. I say to you, my brother and my sister, ask the questions. For soon and very soon, massive movement will begin. And I say to you, it has begun already for many. The time to choose. Choose who you desire to worship and obey. Choose who you desire to believe and walk with. Excuses will fall to the wayside, my brothers and sisters. If you look around, pay attention. I'm not saying be focused on the news and the media. I'm saying pay attention. Identify the signs of the times. Identify those drawn by the Almighty Father, those speaking with the power and might of set apartness as directed by the Almighty Father. There are times when I find myself overwhelmed. Sometimes I think I'm alone. But I recall examples in scriptures when there was an individual who thought he was alone, and the Almighty Father opened his eyes. so has he done with me. He has opened my eyes. I believe there are others who truly seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, who will connect and not reject questions. You see, again, I believe questions uncovers, reveals, bring answers. I believe if you're truly trying to grow and set apartness, then you will exhibit the patience to listen and speak with caution. Set apart Yashar'al. There will be division. There will be confusion. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, as the scriptures have informed us that Yahuwah is not the author of confusion, I submit that that confusion is coming from someone who is undiscerning. And let us not mistaken confusion with someone that's bringing correction to shake and bring about reproof among one another regarding when we stumble or fall. What say you, O Yashar'al? Are you not familiar with the scripture in Matthew chapter 10, verse 34 to 39? Allow me to direct your attention to it. It speaks of how the Mashyach brings a sword that will cause division. It informs us and warns us that some will have enemies within our own household. It informs us of much that is important in pursuing Him. It is He, Yahushua Mashyach, that we must direct our attention, for the Almighty Father sent His Spirit in Yahusha's name. So when we say Yahusha, we recognize Yahuwah's word manifest in the flesh. We recognize and identify the virgin birth. We recognize the sacrifice. And before the sacrifice, we recognize the demonstration of how to interpret the Ten Commandments and the laws that were written by Mashyach or Moses. We recognize the living presence of Abba Yahuwah as he demonstrates how we are to walk in obedience. We recognize after the sacrifice, when Yahusha's Spirit was shed abroad to us individually, when our spirit was linked with Yahusha. When we received His set-apart Spirit, we recognize, my brothers and sisters, a life, an everlasting life in relationship with Yahusha, with Yahuwah. You see, so when we say Yahusha, we're recognizing the plan. It appears that many people among us fail to realize where it reads, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men to me, saying Yahusha. 12:32 in Matthew say, and whoever speaks the word, I'm sorry, not Matthew, John. Forgive me, brothers and sisters, John 12:32. And it says, and I, if I am lifted up from the earth, shall draw all men to myself. I submit to you, set apart children of Yahuwah. We must begin to identify those who are drawn by Abba Yahuwah. We must begin to identify those who are lifting up Yahusha. For as in our actions of obedience, in our praise and worship, this is how we lift up Yahusha. Right now, what I've been witnessing is more people would rather just say Yah and make songs and just say Yah and disregard Yahushua Mashyach. I say to you, even though Yahusha means Yahuwah's salvation or Yahuwah saves, to disregard Yahusha, to disregard the Mashyach, will prove to create regret, pain, and be unfruitful. Let us lift up Yahusha and mention his name and walk in his obedience. For it is the Spirit of Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name that we will clearly understand what is expected, what must, and what will be done. And I'm going to close this episode with saying this, Yashar'al, as it relates to discerning righteousness versus evil, good versus what is wrong. The time will come where many will be separated. The time will come for forced movement. You see, consider this. End time prophecies will be fulfilled. The promises of discipline, vengeance, and wrath, as written in scriptures, will come to be. Therefore, it is not that they might come. Things may happen if we listen and obey. The Almighty Father in his discipline, he knows those whom he has chosen to fulfill certain tasks, certain duties. He knows what it takes for us to be humbled before him, listen with precision, and obey. Are you one of those? Are you one of those individuals? Come, O Yashar'al, let's begin to ask questions. Let's begin to seek answers. Let's begin to discern what is true. Let us learn how to walk each day in obedience to the Almighty Father. Sure, we'll stumble and we'll fall. But let us recognize the atoning blood of the Lamb, Yahusha. Let us recognize through forgiveness, through yielding to reproof and correction, we rise up anew, stronger than ever before. On that note, I say to you, Yashar'al, stay tuned, for each of these episodes will reflect the things that have stirred within my spirit and that have brought me to the point that I've presented them before you. In each podcast, I will try to be prayerful and make these brief as compared to the videos on YouTube. On that note, be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. Shalum.